So really what we're going to do is open a Questrade account. From there, we're going to fund your Questrade account. Those are going to be separate videos. There are two different methods to fund your account. So I just figured those would be easier to do as sort of bonus content so that you can watch the video that you want to actually get the money inside of your account. Before we get started, you are going to need a couple of pieces of information. Number one, you're going to need your SIN number. Number two is your photo ID. And then the last piece is just kind of a rough estimate of your annual income and your net worth, which is your assets minus your liabilities. So, we'll get to those, but know that, you might want to have that information handy as we go through this process. So to get started, you're going to navigate to questrade.com and you're going to open the big green Open an Account button that's in the top right-hand corner. Know that with this video, you can always pause. You might want to have things side by side. If you're lucky enough to have two monitors, you can have the video on one and your web browser on the other side. But my hope is to walk you through this process. But obviously, you're going to want to do it on your own time. Once we click that Open an Account number, here's where you're going to choose which type of accounts you want to open. Now, you can definitely open more than one account at the same time. I've got here sort of TFSA as well, RSP, which is like an RRSP. If you want to do an RESP or another type of account, there's that little see more account types and you can follow that. But basically, you're going to want to click on every account that you want to open. And then notice that there is this little offer code button here. This is the only time you can use an offer code. So don't skip over this. Take a minute because there is some free money on the table here. That there is this sort of friends and family pass that Questrade has where depending how much money you're depositing, you'll get a bonus. So if you're investing, over 100K, you're going to get $250 from Questrade straight into your account. So people have posted their pass. You can go to the community forum. We created a little thread there. You can just choose someone. Feel free to add your friends and family pass, your code after the fact if you want to have other people use your referral code. But this is really the best deal for you. So I would strongly suggest go to the community forum, it's like an awkward string of letters and numbers. You can copy and paste it, put it into this offer code box. And that way you'll be able to get anywhere from, I think it's $50 up to $250, depending on how much you're depositing. So once you enter that offer code, you can click the Open Now button. That's going to ask you to create your user ID. We're going to want your name here. Notice that it should match your government ID. So use your sort of legal name as well as your email address and your phone number. From there, you can click that Continue button. At that point, it's going to ask you to put in a password. So here's where you're going to want to choose your password. It needs to be at least 8 characters with 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase, and 1 number. Whatever your password management system is, please, please, please use that. You can write it in a journal, email it to yourself. I use something called LastPass, which is really helpful to be able to track all of my passwords, but you are going to want to make a note of this password. From there, we're going to build your profile. So notice there's sort of the 4 different boxes up here. We're going to go through them one at a time. We can start with the personal information. This is just going to be your information. They're going to want your phone number and your email, and you are going to have to verify them. So notice that button that really they are going to want to set you up with something called 2-factor authentication. It's really important that they can contact you if there's an emergency. So they're going to want to verify this by sending you a little text message, sending you an email address, getting you to verify your contact details. From there, you can do your date of birth, your marital status, your residential address, all that fun stuff. This screen should be very, very straightforward. When you're done, you'll click that Done button. And that's when we'll move to your employment type. So they do ask you about your employment status. So you're going to want to go ahead and select that. It does ask you a few of these questions about basically whether you're, securities dealer or employed by a stock exchange. If anyone is a reporting insider or a significant shareholder for a publicly traded company, so really if you do have some of that insider information, you do need to disclose that. And then they ask you if you're a foreign or domestically politically exposed foreign person. or head of an international organization, right? Something like that. You know, these are all things where, again, there could be conflicts. You do need to disclose that. For most of us, it's going to be no, 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 and then you can click done. From there, it's going to ask you for some financial information. So it does want your annual income at the top. Again, ballpark numbers are fine here. It's not a huge deal. Doesn't have to be exact, but they are going to want your annual income. As well, they're going to want to get a sense of your assets and your liabilities. So liquid assets, these are things like investments and cash and high interest savings accounts. Your fixed assets are going to be things like the value of your home or a cottage, or if you have a really fancy car or any other assets that, you know, kind of more hard assets. And then your liabilities are going to be any debt that you have. Now, for a lot of people, if you do own a home, you're going to count the full value of your home as a fixed asset. If you're married, then you can count half of it, right? Because you have half the home. And then for the liabilities, that is where you're going to put the remaining amount left on your mortgage. And again, if you're married, you can do half of that remaining amount. This will give them your sort of total net worth, which is an important thing for them to understand. The next screen is all about citizenship. So if you're doing this, you should be a Canadian citizen. If you're born in the US, that does complicate things a little bit. You'll have to provide a bit more information and fill out a form. There'll be a few more instructions, but I'm kind of going to assume that that is not the case. This is where you're going to need that SIN number, your social insurance number. Very, very common for investment firms to ask for this. This is really to prevent any type of money laundering, things like this. Are you a tax resident of a jurisdiction other than Canada in the US? And then really know that if any of your tax residence information changes, then you are going to have to let Questrade know. It's very important that you do keep them updated. From there, you know, this looks good. We're then going to start going through and working through all of these different account questions. So the account details, do you want to trade options? I would strongly suggest clicking no. Options are things like derivatives and options and puts and calls. This is more about gambling. So for most of us, we do not want to trade options. So I would suggest clicking no. What is the purpose of this account? You can really click any of these buttons. Doesn't really matter, whichever one sort of speak to you. And your initial deposit for this account, again, this is just going to be a ballpark number. It doesn't need to be exact. From there, we do have a page on consent and communication. So it's up to you whether you want to disclose your contact information. Basically, they need to send you a whole bunch of information. The ETFs that you own, you're going to get like a little flyer for them and things like that. These are things that the ETF company has to send to you. So if you do not object to disclosing the information, then they can share that information with the ETF provider. You're going to get the things in the mail directly. Otherwise, you can object to disclosing the information. At that point, the ETF company is going to send it to Questrade, who then is going to send it to you. So you're going to get the mail no matter what. But, you know, in my mind, I would say do not object, just to save you a little bit of time so that you do get those materials a little bit faster. There's really nothing important here, you know, but there are things that legally they do need to be able to send you. So it's important to select one of those two options. And then at the bottom, you know, when it says which security holder materials do you want to receive, I would suggest clicking I do not want to receive any security holder materials. Really, this means is it's going to limit the amount of junk mail that you get. From there, you know, you're going to have to select the language and things like that, but this should be really straightforward. These are the only places here where people do get stuck. The next page is about persons with financial interest. So, you know, this is if you wanted to add someone else to your account. It's really not a bad idea to set up your spouse as a beneficiary if you do have a spouse, but you don't need to do it right away. You know, really, if you want the reminder to do it, it's a bit of a pain. You have to fill out a form, and then I believe you have to get a witness to sign it and then physically mail it into Questrade. So it is an important step to take. And if you want that reminder, you can click yes, please remind me. Otherwise, you know, if you're single, if there's no one else that you want to you know, have this connected to, then you can click no, I don't need to add any persons with financial interest. From there, tick the box that says, yes, I confirm that after setting up this account, I will add any persons or entities with any financial interest, control, or beneficial ownership in the future. Again, they are going to need to know if that changes. From there, we're going to accept all of their different agreements. These are kind of boilerplate online brokerage agreements. By all means, feel free to scan through them, but this is going to be a lot of legal language. This is very, very standard stuff that we do need to accept these disclosures and these agreements before they let you open the account. Once you've accepted everything, that's when we can do the e-signatures. So we're almost there. What we want to do here is use an e-signature for the statement of acceptance and the account application. Now you're going to have to do this for each account. So on this screen, I kind of just have it for a TFSA if I'm only opening a TFSA. But if you're opening 2 accounts, you'll have to do this for 2 different accounts. But for now, you'll see here, it's really easy. I love these e-signatures. You're just going to agree to use electronic records and signatures. From there, you're just going to go through and basically click through, and you can sign everything. It's very straightforward. At that point, you need to upload your government-issued photo ID. I tend to do my driver's license, but you can also do a passport if you don't have a driver's license for whatever reason. There are a couple different ways you can do it. Again, just kind of choose which government-issued ID that you want. And then from there, you can use your phone to upload your document. So if you understand QR codes and you're good with your phone, you can actually open your camera app and capture this code and then basically follow the instructions. You can take a picture with your phone and it'll upload it very, very easily. That said, my preference was to upload it manually. So if you want to upload it manually, you can always just click on that button. This will give you, the ability to put in the document name, the document type. What I would do here is take a picture with my phone and then email it to myself so that I can then upload it. Notice that the maximum file size is 4 megabytes. So, if you have a really, really good camera on your phone, it might actually be too big of a file. You might have to go through and just save it as a lower quality image before you can upload it. That's why sometimes that QR code can be a little bit easier. Awesome. That's it. Congratulations. You've now set up your Questrade account. Really good job. I'm giving you sort of a high five right now. This is probably the hardest part for a lot of people, is just setting up this account. So good work there. From there, obviously, if you have any questions, please, please, please post them to the community forum. If you're stuck, if you're not sure, obviously we can help you out. So please don't be shy and feel free to post any questions that you've got on that forum. But otherwise, your homework is just going to be to fund your account. So I'm going to do separate videos on how to fund your account. There are 2 ways you can do it. The first is to use new cash. We're going to want to basically add Questrade as a bill payee on your online bank account. And I'll show you how to do that in another video. The second way is if you already have an RSP or a TFSA elsewhere, then you can transfer your account to Questrade. That one's a little bit trickier. You have to fill out a form there. So again, I'll have a video to show you how to do that. At that point, really that's it for today. Really good work. The next module, we're going to set up your passive account. And at that point, once your passive account is up and running, we're going to put your money to work. So I hope this video has been useful, and certainly let us know if anything has changed in the Questrade sign-up process so that we can update this video. Have a great day.